Excited about this weekend. This should be a lot of fun. We're good news. We're 3-0 at noon here in Morgantown, so that's going to work to our advantage. Our guys know the schedule. This is our third top 10 team we played. I consider them a top 10 team. I consider TCU a top 10 team. I consider Virginia Tech a top 10 team. They're pretty close. I don't know what the rankings are. I don't care. They're all pretty good. This is the first one we've had at home, so that's good news for us. And should be a lot of fun. The atmosphere I know is going to be wild. The guys are looking forward to being here to be able to play this game. So, that the series between us and them has been a fun one. We probably know as much about Oklahoma State as we do anybody on our schedule. Oklahoma State probably knows as much about us as anybody on their schedule. So our job as coaches is to put our guys in the best situation we possibly can, which we will do for this Saturday at noon. They're a good team. They're an outstanding program. There've been very few teams that has won as much as they have over the last 10 years. So they're going to come in a good place and should be a fun Saturday. Offensively, they as good as you're going to see. Been a part of some good offenses, and this one's as good as I've seen. They got a good seasoned quarterback. I mean, Rudolph throws the deep ball as good as anybody, runs the offense, big, strong, good-looking, smart guy. Been there forever. I'm glad he's graduating. Got as good of a receiving core, that exists. Some guys on the outside that scare you, that can get behind you and score quick like they did against Baylor. It's like routes on air. It seemed like, with one-on-one routes on air, nobody deep, just go deep and throw it as far as you can. And you got to defend that. Good, solid inside receivers and tight ends, a lot of fullbacks that can play, good, big, strong, experienced offensive line. The back is probably the best that we face this year as well. Saw him last year as a young kid, but he's really developed and looks, the Hill kid, he's really developed and looks really good. So they can run the ball. They're going to try to run the ball. They're able to run the ball. And then if they have to sit there and throw it every snap they can big play you, but then they can just do the intermediate passing game as well. If they take care of the ball, fishing on critical downs, finish drives with touchdowns. So got our work cut out for us on defense, certainly. Why they're a top 10 team is their defense is really good as well. Glenn Spencer's been there for a long time. Haven't changed schemes or anything. They've recruited well. They've got a $500 million facility that they can recruit to. You've all seen it. It's spectacular. Getting a lot of good players. Probably the best safety tandem that we've seen. I said this last year against these guys with Flowers, 31, and I can't remember his name, but 13 was there last year. He was a team captain for him. He left, and they put number 7 there, which is a 4-year starter. And he played corner when we were there. Last time we beat him, I think 3 years ago. He was a young kid that was playing corner, so he's got just a ton of experience. He's matured. He's a team captain, the Richards kid, number 7. So they put him back there. So once again, they're the best safety combination that we've played up to this point. A lot of experience at linebacker. They all look, 6 foot, 6'2", 225 to 245, all yoked up. Those guys look good. They tackle. They're physical. They can cover. And then their front is, just got a bunch of big, thick guys that stop the run, that can rush the passer. And if those guys get tired, they just roll 4 more of them in there. So they're good on defense, and their numbers support that. They've pretty much improved on every defensive category from a year ago, which I thought they were pretty good a year ago. I thought they were really good 2 years ago when we played them out here. But it's the same stuff. They look good, and got our work cut out for us on offense. Special teams, they pay attention to it. Coach Gundy. This is important to him. He's done a great job. I've learned a lot from him, from a CEO point of view, and he installs a lot of discipline within his program, has a great relationship with the strength coach, and respect Coach Glass. Done a lot of that stuff here with Mike Joseph, and then he kind of keeps his eyes on special teams as well. So they work it hard, and they're good at it. Their coverage units are, it's hard to get yards on either one of their coverage units, and then their return units have always been extremely respectable. So that stuff they pay attention to, and we got our work cut out for us there as well. So it should be fun. Bottom line, got a really good top 10 team coming to Morgantown. We'll be ready. We'll continue to prove. Looking forward to a good week of work to prepare. What we got?
Dana, so, you've seen a lot of good Oklahoma State offenses. Is this the best of that group that you've seen?
Could be. I was a part of one. They got better once I left. They've had some pretty good ones. They've had good quarterbacks. They've had awesome running backs. This is statistically, it's probably as good as it's been. Yeah, they're 50-50 run pass, and they could throw it to any of these 6 receivers that they trot out there. They got 2 capable backs that they can hand it to. The quarterback runs it. They got a lot of fullbacks, good depth on the O-line. Looks like it to me, and I think the statistical aspect of it support that.
A week ago, you talked about the momentum of your comeback carrying over.
Fun to be on the other side of it.
Yeah. Can you keep this from being a carryover?
It's a good question. Tech couldn't, but. I think our guys are in a good place. That is a good learn. Let's just go ahead and talk about it. That was a good learning experience for us. Here's the good news: we've been on both sides of it, and we're 2-0. So that when you're on either one of those sides, it's real easy to be 0-2. Being down after 3 quarters, a lot of teams will say that's enough, I'm done, and lose. Being up, having it in hand, and then seeing that change so quickly. A lot of teams I've been on says this is too hard, and they let them just score, and you lose that. So the good news is we've been a part of these 2 games, which these type games happen every weekend somewhere to somebody, and for us to be able to be on the winning side of both of it, I think gives us confidence. I think the learning aspect of it, and it all starts with me, is to make sure that doesn't happen. So there are some things that happen, right towards the very end of the 3rd quarter. That was probably the best 3rd quarter we've had since I've been here on all 3 sides. It was complete. We dominated. Other than they got 1 play on us on offense. Other than that, we were in a really good place. Everything we did offensively worked. Our return units were good. Our coverage units were good. Defensively, we were playing well, stopping the run. You go to that point up 25 to being in the situation that we're in, will teach you a lot on the fact that you can never be complacent. You can never relax. I don't care what happened the previous play, the previous series, the previous quarter, the previous game. You better keep moving forward and play how you're able to play. A lot of learning things from me to sideline stuff, adjustments, play calls, being on the same page, everybody involved. A lot of things we can learn from, and the thing is, they didn't have a whole lot to lose. Baylor is a good team. You can laugh at me if you want to. I know they're 0-7, the best one probably in the history of college football. And they're well coached, and I think Coach Rule has got a plan for what he wants to do. And they didn't give up. And when you're in that situation where it really doesn't matter, you can take as many chances as you want to. That makes them dangerous. And we fell into that trap, and we can't. So I think we'll learn from it. And I think it'll make us better because of what happened.
Dana, with Jake here, do you spend more time with the defense? And if so, the second part of the question is, what do you see with your defense that needs specifically to be improved?
I thought we played our best 3 quarters of football last week. Then we got gassed based on the situation that happened. The changed quarterbacks, offense, 3 and outed, basically 3 and outed 3 times in a row. They gained a possession because of a special teams deal. They got gassed. We're not a team that can, just roll too deep out there and play ball. So, I spend more time with everything, but still, this is Gibby's defense, and he makes all the calls. And we talk a lot about personnel, and I was happy. I thought we took a step in the right direction in stopping the run. They had -6 yards after 3 quarters, so that was good. But then we got tired, and we weren't able to overcome a variety of things that happened. But I think we're improving.
Danny, you said after the game that you thought that Crawford was a little tired, legs worn down after half of the season. Now that you have a couple days to reflect on that, you still think that? And what do you do about it?
Get them healthy. It's football. That running back spot's going to get banged up. Happens to every back, to every team, every year. There's nothing you can do about it. The way that those guys play, there's nothing you can do about it. So it's called a training room. Get a lot of treatment, get healthy, and practice hard and get back out there and play. That's what I expect him to do.
You don't limit his carries a little bit more?
I'd rather give it to him more. Whatever he can handle, he'll get. If he's sore and banged up, then I'm going to put 4 in there. I thought 4 had his best game. He looked a lot different handing the ball to him than it did 25. Wish we would have handed it more to 4. Going back studying the video, wish we would have handed it to 4 more. How many times we stood up here talking about this? You're going to get to the number 2 back, the number 3 back. Hopefully you don't get to the number 4 back, but we've got to the number 5 back, right? So how's this any different?
Dana, how do you keep your players from playing sluggish? Excuse me. How are you going to keep them playing for all 4 quarters against Oklahoma State? You've had at least 1 quarter where either your offense or defense was playing sluggish. How are you going to keep them to play all 4 quarters this weekend?
I don't know. You tell me. Evidently, I don't have an answer for it.
The last 2 games against this team, turnovers have really been the key issue. Do you address that? I know you address that every week with the team. Do you address it more this week, knowing that really 3 turnovers last year, they turned in the points, 4 turnovers the year before? Do you stress it even more now?
Well, to say the positives on it now, we won the turnover battle, the 2 previous ones before that, which impacted us winning out here when they were top 10, when we won in Stillwater. It's been a big part of this game. I think Oklahoma State does a good job of playing good, disciplined football, and we certainly have as well. But that's had an impact on the game, and I think, we've talked a lot about turnovers. 2 years ago out here, the turnovers I believe were 4-3. I think we got 3 and they got 4. But the ones we got were all the way, and way back. I remember that Chestnut got a pick and went out of bounds on the 1-yard line, and then Ogbaugh got a fumble and was in their end zone. So the field position when it comes to turnovers to me is probably a little bit more important than the turnovers. Last year we turned it over 3 or 4 times and gave their offense very, very, very short fields. So turnovers at times can be just like punts. But turnovers can also be like big play touchdowns too. So we got to pay particular attention to that.
What are your thoughts of your special teams? Your coverage and returns look pretty good You happy with where
I
that's at?
thought we're right where we need to be on that. I think we're doing a good job in both those areas. They do the same, so gotta pay particular attention to that and continue to work hard on them. But I'm happy with where they were last week. Hopefully, I'll be happy with where they are this week.
Dan, has anyone on your team improved more from last year to this than Benton?
Probably not. His numbers, like Gibby made reference to this, and you guys can ask him when he's in here. His production, we keep track of production points and stuff, which the formula really doesn't matter, but his production points have been as high as anybody around here since I've been here. He's probably the smartest football player that I've coached, on that side of the ball. I mean, there's some quarterbacks that have such a high IQ, football smart, Will Greer and David Sills are two of the smarter ones, but defensively, I mean, he is off the charts intelligent. From just an intelligence point of view, but from a football point of view, he sees it, and he's got himself in shape. He was fat about 3 years ago, and he has got himself in shape, and he is, it matters a lot to him. Team captain, been here for 5 years, team leader. It gets to a point where he's mad if he doesn't make every tackle. Just always around the ball, just playing as good as anybody I've seen defensively for us in 7 years I've been here.
And I don't think you used the same language for McDougal, but he's similarly improved in a short amount of time.
Not ready to say that yet. He is disruptive. I think our front played the best that they've played this year. 88 made some plays in the backfield. 91 got to the quarterback 3 or 4 times. McDougal is disruptive, does things that probably won't show up in the stat book. Xavier probably played his best game since he's been here. Alan David need some other guys to step up and do some things. Jalen Harvey came in and did a few good things. Reese Donahue played hard. So I'm not willing to say that about Lamont at this point. Not nearly even anywhere close to in the same sentence as Al Benton. But he's improving.
Is it, I don't want to say you didn't consider him at the beginning of the season, but relative to his age, and that's hard.
Doesn't happen very often. Probably helps when your dad's a 17-year vet in the NFL. Been around it for a long time. But yeah, certainly glad we got him, and he practices hard, he plays hard, sweats a lot. It's funny. You can use this in the same sentence. Al Benton and Lamont McDougal sweat more than anybody on our team. They sweat. Because they play hard. Guys tend to sweat when they play hard.
Dana, what'd you think of your offensive line?
I thought we took a step in the right direction on having that mentality that I discussed last week that needs to exist to be able to run the ball the way we want to be able to run the ball. Still young, inexperienced. We need to continue to improve. We are not anywhere close to where I want us to be. Hopefully we get there quick. Thought we took a step in the right direction. And need to continue to head that direction if we want to win here moving forward.